Okay guys, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with our brows. And what you want to do first is you want to brush them out. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to measure my eyebrows to make sure they're going to be even. And then I go in with a straight line and then I just follow the arch of my brows. And what I like to do is I just like to fill in my brows to make sure there's no gaps. Alright, and in the front of my brow, I like to go up vertically so it looks like I have real hairs. And then I just like to smooth it out and make sure that there's no gaps in my eyebrows. And don't worry if it looks bad because you're going to be cleaning it up later with concealer. Okay, so now we're going to go in with foundation. I like to use the matte poreless foundation by Maybelline, but you can just use any foundation that you have and it's good for your skin combination. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a foundation brush and lay it out all over my face evenly. Make sure I get by my ears and under my chin. Okay, and one trick that I like to do is I like to use my sponge, but before I use it I like to wet it to make sure that it applies the foundation really smoothly and evenly on my face. Okay, so I couldn't find my concealer, so I'm going to be going in with my Tarte foundation. It's a shade lighter than my skin tone, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that under my eyes to correct any dark circles and also under my nose to correct redness. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with my Laura Mercier powder, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set my face under the eyes, on my chin, and then I'm going to make my contour a little sharper so when you brush it out it looks really smooth. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with my contour brush. I really don't know where I got the brush, but it's one of those cheap ones, but it still gets the job done. But I'm going to go in with the shade Caramelo on the Salvaje palette, and I'm just going to use that on my cheeks and my cheekbones, and also on my forehead and below my chin to give my face a little more dimension. Okay, now moving on to the eyeshadow. We're going to use this eyeshadow brush, and what we're going to do is we're going to use the color Lola. It's an orange color, and we're just going to apply that on the crease. Make sure that when you're applying eyeshadow to your crease, you go in circular motions, and make sure you're not applying too much pressure on the brush because it makes a really harsh shadow and it won't be applied as well as applying less pressure. And you're just going to keep going in circular motions around the crease and make sure it's applied evenly. And then you're going to just repeat that on the next side. Okay, so now we're just going to go in with the fluffy brush and we're just going to brush it out just a little bit to make sure everything's evenly applied out. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with this black glittery shade in the Morph palette, and what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to apply that to the outer corners of my eye. You want to make sure that you're going in an angle as I'm doing, and what you like to do is you want to be very careful because black eyeshadow can be very messy. Okay, so now we're going to go in with that fluffy brush again, and we're just going to be using that on the corners of the eye where the black shadow is, and we're just going to be blending that out to make sure that it's almost seamless and blend it out. Okay, so the next step is using a dark brown shade. I like to use that around my eyes so it can be more sculpted, and that way the eyes have more dimension. You can use any brown shade that appeals more to you. I really like this color because it really brings the look together. So what I like to do is I like to go over again with the same color, and I like to make sure that everything looks really nice and even on both sides of my eyes. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna be applying concealer on our lids so the glitter eyeshadow can stick. Okay, so now we're going to be going in with the glittery shadow, and we're just going to apply that where we applied the concealer. So now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using eyeliner, but instead of making a wing, you're just gonna use that to line the eyes. So when you put on your false lashes, it won't leave a mess of glue. It'll look more like your real lashes. You also want to make sure that when you're applying your lashes, don't just apply your lashes right when you put on the glue. You have to give it a few seconds for the glue to dry, but not fully dry. And what you want to do is you want to put your lashes and you want to place them the closest that you can to your lash line, but you want to put them at an angle to where they're facing up and not down, so you can get the full effect of the lashes. Once I'm done applying both lashes, what I like to do is I like to mess with them a little bit to make sure that they're both fully placed correctly on my lash line and to make sure that none of them missed any spots of glue. Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to lips, and the lipstick color that I'm using is called Mija. And what I like to do is I like to overline my lips just a little bit, but not too much where it's exaggerated. And I like to do the top lip first, and then I like to move down to the second one. But what I like to do is I like to do it a little bit more slower, so that way it's a little less messy. Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to highlighter, and what I like to do is I like to spray it with water, and the reason for that is that you get the full effect of the highlighter when you wet it. Now we're going to be going in with this liquid highlighter, and what we're going to do with this is we're going to place that under our brow bone, and what we're going to do is we're going to be highlighting that, and also we're going to be putting it in the corners of our eye to give it a little bit more pop. Okay, now we're going to be going in with the powder brush, and what we're going to do is we're going to take all the excess powder off that we used to contour our face and just make sure everything is off so we don't have any flashbacks when we take pictures with flash. And now to give our eyelashes a little bit more volume, we're going to be going in with the Maybelline mascara, and we're just going to be applying that to the lashes. Okay, now we're going to be using the color Lola, the orange color, and also the brown color under our eyes so we can give it a little bit of a more smoky look. Alright, and we're also going to be applying mascara to the lash line under our eyes to make sure that it looks similar to our eyelashes so it can look more realistic.